Hello Libraxians, today we're making a video called which one of these three candies is the most unhealthy for you. So what do I mean by this? I'm gonna be judging the back of these candies, which have their nutritional label facts and whatnot, to see which of these are the most unhealthy. Obviously, it would be different if they were all of different sizes and different calorie, but you know what's good is these are all 210 calories. So we have like the same standard like calorie size. I would personally say any candy with a higher calorie count is instantaneously unhealthy, but since these are all the same, we can judge them on the same merit. So let's start off with Kit Kat. Kit Kat is really nice. They have a very nice, readable thing, unlike Hershey's and Reese's. But when we get into it here, we can see what am I really judging on? What categorizes as unhealthy, right? So the first thing, probably maybe the most important, is added sugars. These just instantly translate to fat. These raise your insulin levels, etc. Next thing is high amounts of sodium. Sodium is okay in normal amounts, but excessive sodium actually leads to more water retention and just makes you look more fat. Saturated fat. This is the last unhealthy thing. So these three merits are what I'm judging, And I guess things that could turn it back and make it seem more healthy is in case they have any vitamins and maybe protein content. Though we're literally looking at candy bars, so that's not going to happen. So let's start off with this one. First, 22 grams of added sugar. I mean, all candies are like that. That's a big no-no. Next, we're going to saturated fat, 7 grams. That's a lot. That is a lot. I know the recommended amount here is like only 35% of your recommended amount, so you could essentially eat 3 of these and be fine for the day, but, like to take it for example that you eat like fries with a burger or something, right? That's already like probably a lot. Wait, I guess the bun, the fries, etc. These carbs are also often laced with fats, right? So essentially, you can't just say, oh, I'm going to eat 3 candy bars a day and I just reached my daily limit and whatever. You should always try to be like earnestly below these percentages. You do not want them to hit 100, except for protein. Protein should be above 100. I sound like some fitness influencer, but yeah, this is currently, I would say it's, a typical candy bar. Now to look at Hershey's. All right, ripping it open, we can already see we have 21 grams of added sugars. More of these are natural, which is, I guess, kind of a little bit better, but, it's literally a 1 gram difference. And in turn, total sugars, it has more natural sugars, but, total sugar overall is, not the best. So saturated fat is 8 grams. That's 40%. So that's obviously already worse. I would probably categorize this as worse in terms of sodium. Yeah, this is 2% daily. These are candy bars. They're not gonna have high amounts of sodium essentially, but we'll see when we go on to Reese's. Reese's, we have least amount of saturated fat. That's pretty nice. Sodium is a little bit more, but this is such a low content, like 6% of your daily value. That's already kind of negligible. So I would say, that's kind of out of there. It's not really bad. And 21 grams of added sugars, which is essentially the same as, it's the same as this. This is 25 grams total sugars, and this one has 22 grams total sugars. So it has less natural sugar. Honestly, natural sugar process is fine, but, for that reason, when assessing the healthiness of all these, I would earnestly say the most unhealthy is probably this, Hershey's. All right, we can flip them over now. Taking a look, Hershey's. Then I would probably say Kit Kat is the next unhealthiest. And then Reese's is, I guess, the most healthy. These are such negligible stats. It's not like this is like 13 grams versus 18 versus 23. These are all like relatively very close in the ballpark of, eat one of these. It's pretty unhealthy, And you should not be eating a lot of these, regardless. But, when it comes to the relatively small, minute details when calories are standardized, I guess I would say this is the order. Most unhealthy, middle, least. Thanks for watching.